The Vengeance Factor, Season 3, Episode 9. I'm ready to get diving into this one, Alex. I'm really curious what we're going to say about it.
Well, I don't really have anything to say.
Oh, well, I mean, you just kind of gave it away then.
You people haven't changed in 100 years!
But their efforts are sabotaged by a mysterious assassin.
I am the last of my line, but my clan will outlive yours.
And the crew is trapped in a violent path of revenge.
Ambush!
On Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Yeah, man, look, I don't know. This one did not hit with me really at all. There's like very few character scenes that I enjoyed, mostly with Riker, including Riker. Outside of that, this was the first time in a while that I'm like, just a pure miss for me.
How many times have we said, I didn't like the episode, but besides a few good character scenes, it's like, how many times are we going to say that? Hopefully that comes to an end here pretty soon, because we're in the golden age right now. We're in season 3. And I guarantee for every season there's at least one or two where it's like, this fell flat.
Yeah, the thing that worries me is when people, because people will admit and they'll say like, oh, even in the best seasons, there's a few episodes that aren't great. Like that's any TV show. But then when we get into what the patrons think and what the YouTube audience thinks, if they do like this one, that means there's still ones out there that might be bad. As to where it might be a little bit relieving if we find out they also agree with us. Because it's like, okay, this was one of the few. So we'll find out eventually, patron takes coming Friday to YouTube.
Basically, there's this whole blood feud going on. There's these group of Ravagers that are going around that used to be a part of this, be on this planet, but they left. Like, hey, we're out of here. And they're doing their own thing, but they're ravaging all these places, stealing, possibly killing. I don't think so, but I will say that's probably the best part of the episode, the opening, when they go down to that green-colored hue area.
Oh, yeah, what happened to that tone?
Yeah, that tone was great. That was like a great setup for the rest of this episode. It set up like it was going to be a mystery. It's like, what happened here? They brought back those flashlights I love, and like when they flashed a light on something, it would go back to normal colors. I'm like, oh, this looks sweet. But then the rest of the episode happened.
The hook was so straight to the point, right into it, and set an immediate tone of kind of like not only tension, but kind of like scary almost or creepy. What's going on? It's just like a completely different episode after the intro. It never reaches that tone or that quality of that hook. That's very odd. That might be the first time we've ever had such a drop off from a hook to the rest. It's usually like the hook is just like mid or just like, oh, okay, we'll see. Let's see. But usually if it's like a really good hook, that's a good sign. But this time, great hook. Nothing followed it up.
And how fast we got to the hook. How many times has it been where it's been like a solid 3 minutes, and then it's like, oh shit, we haven't even seen the intro yet.
Yeah. This was probably 90 seconds or less. I mean, it was right into it.
It was like, here we go. I'm like, oh, sweet. We're going to be rocking and rolling here. The Sovereign, who has these servants, she wants to bring this group back because they're out there just causing a ruckus. So they're like, all right, we'll set up a deal here. We're gonna bring them back. They're not gonna be a problem anymore. So we need Picard to be the mediator, and let's figure this out.
You people haven't changed in 100 years!
You should know. You were there. Sit down.
We get to meet Yuta, who's like the main servant, who Riker just like
immediately connects with.
Immediately connects with, effortless, even gets the approval pretty much from Troy because they're at dinner together. It's like,
I was just leaving anyway. Please, sit down.
damn, all right. It's like, this is some weird swinger stuff going on here.
Yeah, she gets the vibe and gets out of there. If there's one thing she's going to get, it's the vibe. I did like the little moment with Troy, really the only one she has in the episode, down on the planet.
Any insights?
Brule's ready to negotiate. He just wants privacy so that he won't appear weak in front of the other gatherers.
Again, good way to use her. Yeah, Yuta, played by Lisa Wilcox. I love every single Nightmare on Elm Street movie, like, regardless of the quality of the individual film. I love the whole franchise, so I recognized her, but I thought it was somewhere in Star Trek that I just wasn't pulling, but she's actually from a few Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So I'm familiar with the actress, and I think her performance overall was fine. It's just the stuff that she's given, in my opinion, that's where it falls short in this episode, is the writing, and not even the writing is like bad or cheesy, it is sometimes, but the overall story just lacked for me. I would have actually even been more interested if they just full on went into the negotiation part of it, with Picard having to solve that, rather than throwing in this murder story that, I get it, it's to set up this Yuta character in the story with Riker, but it just wasn't done well, really, in my opinion.
I am the last of my line, but my clan will outlive yours.
Yeah, I would have much preferred one or the other. Just either Measure of a Man type, meeting type here, where it's all just like we're gonna figure this out in a court-like debate, or just go full murder mystery. Don't like half and half, and especially don't tip me off that she's a killer and like the part of this clan, because the later twist later on, or twist that she's 50 years old, like I don't care. I already know it's her. It's like you can reveal whatever age she is. This is Star Trek. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
nothing surprises me anymore.
But that photograph was taken over 50 years ago.
She hasn't aged a day.
I mean, you have species already introduced like Vulcan and stuff that age super slow. It's not even that, if she was if it was introduced she's human and then they try to do that aging thing, that makes sense. But any other species that, especially ones we haven't met before, that's not that big of a surprise. And they just told us. The scene where Yuta kills that man, Yolgoth, or whatever his name was,
Let's remember that.
I don't think I'm correct, but Voloth or something, I don't know. That is the worst scene of the episode. I mean, it gives away everything. And like, if you're gonna have that, if you're gonna reveal that she's killing him, like, have no dialogue or very little. You give away not only that she's the killer, but basically the whole backstory that then our characters have to reveal later on with just like a little bit more detail to flesh it out.
I should have seen you before.
Yes,
It's impossible.
I am Yuta of the clan Trelesta.
It's just so unnecessary.
Yeah, she even said like, "Oh, I'm the last of the clan" or whatever, and then we get to watch our crew slowly figure it out. Where we're like, where we know it's not fun if we know.
And I did like the first scene only because we got to see Dr. Crusher in a science doctor sense, medical science, basically figure out this virus and what is it that killed him. At first I just figured Yuta poisoned him or has magical powers or whatever, and that's it. But no, it's actually this virus that was created that does not affect their species. It was like 1 for every million it would kill, but can be highly contagious for other people. So that was a neat scene. Had they left it at that, and then it just gets revealed to Riker elsewhere, that's fine. But that second scene with Dr. Crusher, Riker, and Data just proves our point, in my opinion.
80 years ago, the Lornax massacred a rival clan, the Trelestas.
Something tells me they weren't all wiped out.
You are wasting valuable minutes of screen time on something we already know, and not only is it something we already know, it's also like not entertaining, and like the way that they did it. There could be scenarios where dramatic irony, we know something the character doesn't, that is good or is entertaining. This wasn't it.
Yeah, I feel like a good example of something we know that some of the characters do or do not know is like Frasier. I've seen a few episodes of Frasier where it's all about like misunderstandings, where like one character knows something the other one doesn't, and it's a bunch of funny situations off that. Like that's funny, where like we know what character knows what and the other ones don't. Like that's fun, but in a situation like this where they're just playing catch up and we're already like ahead of the curve, it's like it's not fun. Great scene with douchebag and Wesley, and then
Rule.
We can avoid the belt completely and only lose 12.1 minutes at warp 7.
Have it your way, kid.
yeah, Brule, and then the rest of the episode, Brule's just pushed to the sidelines for this jag-off that sucks, and like Wesley's not even in the rest of the episode. It's like I feel like we could have had a nice better button to them interacting. It's like they both get this shoved out.
Yeah, they almost set up this, like, I don't want to say like relationship or friendship, but they get set up in multiple scenes, and honestly, like, some of the best Wesley scenes we've had.
You any good at it? You don't like me. I didn't say that.
He has improved a lot, and like those scenes were good. But you're right. After the iPad math scene where he like rolls his eyes, that's it. And it's like, why even have those in there then if you're not gonna like resolve it at all? I mean, not that it needs a resolution necessarily, but it's like
It's just weird how
it's
like
just weird.
both were just like you're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to talk about a little bit more about the Riker Yuta relationship because I really liked it.
I will arrange for a technician to help program your recipes into the computer. Of course, I'll have to try some of them. I look forward to tasting it.
She makes this dinner for him, and they're eating it, and he talks all about how he prefers equals, and he's like, "Don't call me commander. My name's William." And he's like, "Are you okay being a servant?"
I'm not her slave. I can leave whenever I wish. My path is all too clear.
And I thought it was going to be he's trying to break her out of this slave-like job or something, but no, she's fully confident in her job as a servant. That's not the problem. What Riker doesn't know at that moment is she knows her role in her life, in her opinion, is to kill this other remaining tribe. So That was interesting to me. And then when they go into his quarters,
Tell me what you want, William. I will do anything you wish. Don't you want me to give you pleasure?
Not as a servant.
no, I already told you, I don't want a servant. I want equals. She's like, even in, love? And he's like, yeah.
I do not feel pleasure or passion. I haven't been able to for a long time.
I swear to God, I thought he was gonna have sex with her and like, and like pleasure her and change her outlook on life. And that would have been like kind of ridiculous, but I would have thought it was hilarious.
When she said, I can't feel pleasure or passion, I'm like, she's a robot or something.
Mhm.
She's got to be a robot, where it's like the last effort from this clan to, take out these gatherers. What do you think about her just not being able to let go?
William, I'm sorry.
I like it. I mean, it's a very common character flaw. The episode's called The Vengeance Factor. This is The Vengeance Factor. It lives up to its name. I mean, she can't let go of the vengeance. Her whole tribe was slaughtered in this war between clans, Clash of Clans.
New sponsor.
Sponsor. And so her mission in life is now to take them all out, and she's not going to stop just because she happened to meet Riker and likes him, I think it would have been a weaker choice for her to have been like, no, you're right. Like, unless Riker gave like a Kirk level speech or something.
He's not quite there yet. He's only commander, he's not captain yet. And I think her not succumbing to Riker does really well for Riker's character. He's like, I failed. I fucking failed.
And he had to kill her, yeah.
Yeah, he had to kill her. And I love when characters fail. You know what I mean? It adds to their character. I like how Worf did not fucking give his blood up. And that adds to that fleshed out character. And this adds to Riker's like, I couldn't do it. And I think this woman even said, like, I only have like one purpose. I have no passion or pleasure. Like, maybe everyone she knows is dead. It's like, what am I going to stay alive for? But like Riker tried. It's like there's so much to live for. It's like I don't want you to be a servant. It's like be more. And she's like, I can't. And it sucks.
Yeah, and I also love the subtlety of the closing scene in 10 Forward, where Riker is having a drink at the bar, Picard comes in.
I'm going to extend shore leave on the starbase to anyone who wants it.
I'll pass that along to the crew, Captain.
Wink, wink to Riker, like, take shore leave, and Riker's like, okay, I'll let them know, like, I'm not taking it.
He's not taking it. Damn.
And that's the end. And, it could have been on the nose, I can't believe I had to kill her. It's like he didn't even bring that up. He didn't even talk about it.
So much was said without saying a fucking thing. It's like,
Yeah.
that's how you do it. It's all here.
So why couldn't they just take that? Now I know there's script supervisors and show creative consultants, Melinda Snodgrass, everyone else. So they're going to have more hands-on with the character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just take that into the plot of the episode. You know what I mean? It's like, just because, the part of the story I was more interested in, the negotiation part of, settling this dispute. I mean, look what's happening in the world a lot today, right? Like, Picard even says, that's not different than the history of my world. It's very true even to now, unfortunately. When they're doing that, it just wasn't good. Outside of Picard, I mean. Picard had some good lines and stuff, but like, these two guest characters were just, I'm sorry, like, not believable. I didn't care about either of them. So like, I was completely checked out of that, because I'm like, this guy's a doofus, over the top, and the woman, she's been like fine the whole episode, and now she's just like screaming and all over the place. I'm like, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I was ready to wrap it up,
Turn it off.
No, you're trying to take too much. No group has 3 seats on the council.
I don't care what others have.
At that moment, those actors, like, they knew what classic TOS was, or in their minds, what they thought TOS was. Oh, it's goofy 60s,
Yeah.
With their, their aliens, but only like a facial,
Especially that guy, that chubby guy, Chorgon or whatever his name was.
Yeah, it's like he tried, like, oh, I'm gonna be just like Harry Mudd, but you don't have the charm of Harry Mudd, sir. You don't have an ounce.
I'm sure he did not know who that was.
But
he's like, I'm cast in Star Trek. I'm just gonna be ridiculous.
I'll be really ridiculous. Oh, sick. It's like.
It's really starting to show, Dr. Stubbs was the first example, but, maybe we're onto something where it's like, now the show has come along to where now all the main characters are like bought in and everything's so strong and
they
good.
figured it out, yeah.
And then these guest actors come in and they don't get it. They probably haven't even watched the show. And they're like, oh, it's Star Trek. Whoa.
Yeah, oh, look, I'm the Gorn. Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, it's like these directors or whoever it is, like, can't rein them in and be like, no, hey, look, like, or even like the actors on the show, like, can't, Jonathan Frakes or Patrick Stewart be like, hey, that's not like the vibe here, I don't know. I've never been on a set, so I don't know how it goes if you just let the actor do their thing.
We don't have time for a third take. We gotta go. We gotta get this on TV.
Yeah.
We got 8 scenes to shoot today. Let's go.
Fair enough, yeah. I guess it's good, a silver lining here. It's good that there is actually so much that we could talk about that we enjoyed with the character stuff. And, you know, this is probably my least favorite of the season. As much as I disliked episode 1, I mean, we got Dr. Crusher back. I'm always going to remember that, you know? So this is probably my least favorite so far. And with that being said, the fact that there's so many scenes in here that were positive, I think that's going to be hard to, like, escape moving forward. Like, I can't imagine an episode being so just despicably, you know, Assignment Earth or When the Bow Breaks horrible that I'm like, you know, or to the Deadly Years, you know, oh, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah, not to give away, you know, an answer for a future video, but this is leaning towards that D tier.
Oh well, it's yeah, for me it would be absolutely D tier, but it'd be a question of it doesn't go in the E tier. No, it doesn't. There's enough redeemable stuff here.
Yeah, nothing is as bad as those episodes you mentioned. You know, I mean, nothing this season anyway is, you know, it's like, hopefully, Shades of Grey. Hopefully that's as bad as we get for the rest of the show.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. I'm curious with how good season 3 is supposed to be and moving forward. Will there be an E tier episode? You know what I mean?
I'm excited to find. Don't tell us. I'm excited to find out to when it happens.
Yeah, and I hope if, in our opinion, there is an E tier, I just hope it's one that they actually like for the engagement. E for engagement.
Engagement tier.
Alex and Josh, fill the target audience.
All right, these are the patron takes for The Vengeance Factor. I like the computer extrapolating Yuta's face from the picture with her head being completely obscured behind someone. Very not realistic. Yeah, I got to agree. I know this is centuries in the future, but try plugging that into like Photoshop, generative AI to make that face. You're not getting Yuta.
You're not getting
And it was like a perfect image.
Yeah, it's like, it was her. Wow.
So yeah, it's in the future. You know, and you couldn't, I'm talking like 2024 perspective of Photoshop generative AI. They didn't even know what Photoshop was. And probably, it was 89. When did Photoshop get invented? I don't know.
I've been waiting us all to arrive here so I can pose the question I've never seen because everyone is so focused on Record Decision. Why didn't she just spit on Shorgan?
Oh, because she has the virus. She could just
Yeah.
spit on him. Yeah.
Alex and Josh, best fans, they now stand.
Go, it's Star Trek. Whoa.
Yeah, oh, look, I'm the Gorn.